Reading Comprehension and Grammar. Lesson 20. Reading Comprehension. Flash News. 25 killed as trains collide. A passenger train crashed into an empty train near Paris yesterday at 7:10 a.m. 20 passengers, a driver and 4 firemen were killed. 200 passengers were on the train going to Dijon. The train was traveling at a high speed when it ran a red signal. The train had crashed into an empty train that was being moved between tracks outside Dijon station. 2 cars flew up in the air. Fire engines and ambulances came to help the passengers and to put the fire out. Unfortunately, 25 people were killed and 60 were injured. They were taken to the nearby hospital for treatment. People were shocked and terrified by the horrible accident. When and where did the accident happen? The accident happened at 7:10 a.m. in Paris. How many people died in the accident? 25 people died in the accident. How many passengers were traveling in the train? 200 passengers were traveling on the train. Which emergency services came to help the passengers? Fire engines and ambulance services came to help the passengers. Grammar. Object. An object is a noun or a pronoun in a sentence and is directed by the main verb of that sentence. A noun or noun phrase on which the action is taking place is known as an object. Example. She likes soup. The verb likes is acting upon the noun soup, so that makes soup the object of this sentence. In this example, the object is a single noun. One easy way of identifying the object in the sentence is to first identify the verb and then ask the question what or who of the verb. Example. She likes soup with garlic bread. The only verb in this sentence is likes. Now ask the question, what does she like? The answer is, the soup with garlic bread. So, soup with garlic bread is the object of this sentence. Direct object and indirect object. There are 2 main types of objects, which include direct object and indirect object. Direct object. The main object on which the main verb of the sentence is acting upon is called direct object. Example. He went to school by bus. He is the subject. Went is the verb. Bus is the indirect object. School is the direct object. Indirect object. An indirect object is usually a person or a thing. The indirect object is affected by the direct object. An indirect object always needs a direct object with it and always comes before the direct object. She gave the dog a biscuit. Do I owe you any money? Some verbs need an object to complete their meaning. Some verbs do not need an object. Some verbs need both a direct object and an indirect object. Verb plus object. We really enjoyed the evening. Verb plus no object. Paula smiled and left. Verb plus 2 objects. They gave us coffee. Active and passive voice. Voice in English shows the relationship of the subject to the action. There are 2 types of voices, active and passive. Active, the subject does the action. Passive, the subject receives the action. The active voice is the one that we use most of the time. If the subject is performing the action, then the verb is said to be in the active voice. If the subject is having the action done to it, then the verb is said to be in the passive voice. I gave my aunt a gift. Active voice. A gift was given to my aunt by me, passive voice. Susie is cooking dinner. Active voice. Dinner is being cooked by Susie. Passive voice. Carrie is making tea. Active voice. Tea is being made by Carrie. Passive voice. Subject and predicate. Subject, object, predicate. Subject, object and predicate is the combination of three words which form any sentence. Every sentence can be broken down into two parts, a subject and a predicate. Subject is what or whom the sentence is about. The predicate is the part of the sentence that tells us something about the subject. Remove the subject and the remaining part of the sentence is the predicate of the sentence. Val played the piano. Val is the subject. Played the piano is the predicate. Yen and his friends were playing outside. Yen and his friends is the subject. Were playing outside is the predicate. Rules for predicate. It must agree in number with the subject. It should use the right tense. It must be in the proper voice, active or passive. When the subject is at the start of the sentence. She reads. The subject is she. The predicate is, reads. She reads the book. The subject is still she. The predicate has some extra words, reads the book. She reads the book in the garden every day. The subject is still she. The predicate is, reads the book in the garden every day. When the subject isn't at the start of the sentence. Maria's sisters are going to the party. The subject in this sentence isn't Maria. This sentence is actually about Maria's sisters, they are the subject. The predicate is, are going to the party because it shows what the sisters are doing. When there are two subjects and predicates in a sentence. Amy really liked the painting because it reminded her of her childhood. If you identified Amy as the subject, you're correct. Likewise, if you said, it is the subject, you are also correct. This sentence has two parts, because, joins the two. Amy is the subject of the predicate, really liked the painting. It, is the subject of the predicate, reminded her of her childhood. How to find the subject and predicate in a sentence. Look at the actions and describe who is doing it, that is the subject. What they are doing, is the predicate. Read the passage and identify the mistakes in the sentences. Elephants. Elephants is the largest animals that live on land. There are two kinds of elephants, the Indian elephant and the African elephants. A male, African elephant can weigh up to 6,000 kilos. Elephants can be up to 3.5 meters tall. They need to live in very large area. Elephants have very big thin ear and use it to cool themselves down. An elephant's trunk can smell foods and predators. Elephants need very strong leg to support their heavy body. Their tusks are really long and curved. Elephants use their tusk to find food and to fight. Here are the mistakes in the sentences. Elephants. Elephants are the largest animals that live on land. There are two kinds of elephants, the Indian elephant and the African elephant. A male, African elephant can weigh up to 6,000 kilos. Elephants can be up to 3.5 meters tall. They need to live in very large areas. Elephants have very big thin ears and use it to cool themselves down. An elephant's trunk can smell food and predators. Elephants need very strong legs to support their heavy bodies. Their tusks are really long and curved. Elephants use their tusks to find food and to fight.